So this question says, in the standard XY coordinate plane, the point 2, comma 1. Okay, I'm going to pause and draw an XY coordinate plane, and I'm going to label or graph in here my point 2, comma 1. Right, so this is the idea of a strategy I call plug-in picture. And all that is telling you is anytime a question describes something that can be drawn, it's probably best to draw it. It's not always best, but as a habit, 8 out of 10 times it's going to be a good idea to draw it. So we're told that this point 2, comma 1 is the midpoint. So MP equals 2, comma 1. Then we're told point C has coordinates 6, 8. So let's find that. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we are here, roughly, for point C. And what are the coordinates of point D? Well, again, if this is the midpoint here, then D must be over here somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to use that visual to help me cross out some answers here. Given that D is in quadrant 3, where the X and Y values must be negative, H, J, and K are immediately crossed out. Okay. Now I'm going to use a shortcut to figuring out exactly what point D is. I'm going to use slope. All right. So you could use the midpoint formula, and I'll write that down just so you have it. I'll write it down in red here. So the midpoint formula is that the average of the X values should be equal to the X value of the midpoint. So in this case, 2. And the average of the Y values from the endpoints, right? So I missed saying that previously. These X values come from C and D, right? So the average. So the average of the Y values from point C and D, so that divided by 2, is equal to the Y value of the midpoint, so equals 1. So we can plug some things in, right? Because we do know, right? We do know that X1 equals 6 and Y1 equals 8. We get that from point C. So we can plug that in and figure out the answer. But a faster way is to use the slope, right? So the slope from the midpoint is I'm going up, I'm rising 7 units, and I'm running right from 2 to 6, I'm running 4 units to get from the midpoint up to point C. So I should have to do the exact same slope in the opposite direction to get to D, right? So I'm going to fall or go down 7 units, which takes me from positive 1 to negative 6 for my Y value, and run over 4, which takes me to negative 2 for my X value, which means my answer should be or must be negative 2, comma negative 6.